Hello lovely friends, it's Nikki and you are here in the sewing room with Nick. Today I am going to give you a quick tutorial on how to make these rice packs, the rice heat packs for the microwave. These are fantastic. I use them all the time. They make great gifts if you're thinking about teacher presents or just wonderful gifts that you can have for a friend. These are so quick and so easy. They can be made with any cotton fabric. Make sure you use cotton fabric so that when you use the heat packs in the microwave, it doesn't melt. Polyester can melt a bit and you don't want that to happen. So 100% cotton fabric, and they are fantastic projects, especially for beginners. So let's get started.
So this is what we're making today. Beautiful rice bag that is just such a lifesaver for any aches and pains that you might have. You cannot survive without one of these. So today what you're going to need is some chosen fabric. This is measuring at 6.5 by 25 inches. Now in the pattern that I have got in the Google Drive that you can download, it does say 24 inches, but honestly you can make this as big or as small as you would like. So the first job we're going to do is we're going to place our fabric right sides together, and then we are going to stitch 1/4 inch all the way around the entire bag, just leaving a turning gap in one of the short ends. Okay, so we are going to do our 1/4 inch seam all the way around the entire edge except for a small turning gap. Now, if you would like to pin your pieces together, you can. And it could also be an idea to mark out your turning gap in case you forget. But I'm going to trust that I will remember. I'm just going to make sure that I'm on the right stitch. All right, now at the start and finish, I do want you to do a bit of a reverse, because when we are filling the bag, it is going to put a bit of stress on that beginning couple of stitches. So just do a little bit of a reverse to begin. So now that we have sewn that all the way around and left a turning gap, we are going to get a pair of scissors and we are going to just cut these corners here close to the stitches, being careful not to cut over the stitches. And then we can turn our heat pack through to the right side. Okay, so once you've got it all turned out, here is our opening here, and you've got one nice big rectangle. If you like, you can give it a press. I don't bother giving it a press, to be completely honest with you. I don't think you really need to. What you will need to do is get yourself a funnel and some rice. Now, if you don't have a funnel, don't buy one, because you can make your own using any sort of paper. It could be something you've gotten in the letterbox that you're going to throw out, and just get it into a funnel shape with a piece of tape, and that's all you need. There's no need to buy a funnel. So what you want to do is you're going to place your funnel, if you've got a proper one or a paper one, into this hole that we've created here. And you are going to measure with a measuring cup 2/3 a cup. So this is my 1/3 cup measure. Oh yeah, and it will be messy, sorry. But at least it's easy to clean up. There we go, and we're going to do that again because we want 2/3 a cup. All right, we are going to get that rice to sit in the bottom of our heat bag, and then we're going to get some pins, and we're just going to do a line of pins down the bottom here, keeping all of that rice quite firm in that spot. So if we just get some pins, and you know, 2 or 3 would do it. I'm going to put 3 in. All right, so that's going to hold the rice here. The line that you sew is actually going to be about 1 inch away from that. So this is going to keep the rice nice and tight down this end. You want to sew a row of stitching a little bit further across. You are still going to want to make sure that as you're sewing, there hasn't been any rice that's escaped, because you don't want to sew over a piece of rice. But we're just going to sew a line about 1 inch away. Make sure that you do a reverse at the start and the finish of each line. So let's go do our first one. Okay, so here we are. I've got my line of pins here holding my rice at bay, but I'm actually going to sew my line of stitches about 1 inch away from that. So it's going to give this a lot more room for the rice to move around when we're finished. So let's just do a couple of stitches forward, back stitch, and then we're just going to go all the way down to the other side. Back stitch again. And then when we take those pins out, that rice then has got room to move, but it's also going to keep it into place while we're wearing our rice bags around our neck. So now we're going to do the same process over again. So we've got our first section of rice in here now. We've stitched it. We can trim those threads off when we've finished the whole lot. Let's put our funnel back in, and we'll do another 2/3 a cup. That's one. And that's 2. We'll get that rice to sit down the bottom of this next section, and again we are just going to put some pins in to hold it into place. So we'll do our first pin here, and we'll get another pin in over here. And this just helps to hold our rice away while we're sewing. And again, when we sew this one, we're going to sew it about 1 inch away from that line. Now you can measure your sewing lines if you want to be really super precise, but I am a notoriously lazy sewer, so I am not going to do that for a heat pack. Maybe if there were to be gifts, I might consider it, but because these are just going to be going into my own linen cupboard, I will just eyeball it. So let's go sew our next section down here. Okay, I have got my next section ready to go. I'm going to make sure I do my reverse start stop. And we'll take the pins out of that section. And that's 2 sections done. So then we can continue this along until we get to the end. One thing you might want to keep in mind is as you're getting towards the end, so I'm on my last little stitch before I close it up, this side of the wheat bag gets very heavy and your machine can't feed it through. So as you're sewing, make sure you're helping your machine carry this side through, and that way you won't end up with curved stitches. So just make sure that you're just helping it move along. Okay, so I'm up to the very last section now. So just like all of the others, funnel goes in. And in goes our rice. And the last little bit. Okay, so for this last little bit here, we are going to do the same thing, and we're going to pin our rice away. And this time we are actually going to be closing this up. So we want to top stitch this about 1/8 of the inch all the way around, and that's going to close up our turning gap. So we're just going to start at one end, fix up that corner a little bit, start at one end and sew to the other, closing this gap up as we go. And there you have it, a beautiful heat pack. So these would make great gifts, Christmas gifts, teacher gifts. They're just fantastic. Everyone is going to be able to use these. Don't forget to trim off the threads if you're going to give it as a gift. And the other thing you can do, so this is one that I keep in the freezer. Now I keep it in the freezer in a bag so that there's no transfer of smells, but this one is a great one if you have got someone that has a lot of headaches because they keep their cool really well as well. So in the freezer, they are fantastic. Also for this size would make a great one for sinus. You could actually heat that up for a few seconds in the microwave and just have the warmth help ease some decongestion. So these are also a good size. Now this one is, I believe, so it's about 3 inches finished. So I would say 3.5 inches by 8 inches. So 3.5 inches by 8.5 inches for a smaller eye size. And these are fantastic. And then again, you could make them smaller again, that they're just big enough to fit in your pocket, and then they become little hand warmers that you can have in your pockets at winter time.
So I hope you have enjoyed making these today with me. They are fantastic. You will get so much use out of them, and everybody you know will want one. Thanks for joining me today. I can't wait to see you again next time. Bye for now.